Among the rolling hills of southwestern Virginia lies an imposing stately brick building, regarded as one of the most haunted locations in America. Known as the St Albans Sanatorium, the building itself is massive, over 68,000 square feet in size, and sits perched on a hilltop near Radford, Virginia. St Albans is now privately owned and leverages its dark past to full advantage. It currently operates as a historical site, but the owners are fully aware of the history of the land and the building, and use this to host periodic ghost tours, a zombie apocalypse event, Friday the 13th celebrations, and even a haunted house at Halloween. Fear sells, and St. Albans does not disappoint. So what's the paranormal significance here? Well, take a tour and you'll understand. Walking through the entrance, there's a heavy feeling that never leaves. The walls are grimy with paint peeling everywhere. There are broken toys scattered around on the floor as if their owners just gave up on them. Rusting old wheelchairs lurk in dark corners. In certain areas, you can only imagine what kind of horrors took place inside these walls through the years. Visitors can still see the metal mesh covering the rooftop garden that was installed to keep patients from leaping off to their death. Visiting the electroshock therapy room will chill you, spurring vivid thought about the terrible things that went on in there. One room has a lone rocking chair that tends to rock on its own. The suicide bathroom will make you feel sick in the pit of your stomach. There were at least 4 suicides that happened in that very room. If you're truly brave, go down to the basement to see the bowling alley. There are supposedly the spirits of a young girl and another of a woman that appears as a mist when her name is mentioned. If the physical appearances don't creep you out, wait until you have an actual encounter with one of the many spirits that haunt the place. Visitors and volunteers alike have had numerous encounters with the spirits haunting St. Albans. They've reported seeing full-body apparitions, shadow figures, levitating objects, noticeable temperature drops, and the aforementioned rocking chair rocking on its own. Visitors have also heard disembodied voices. They felt cold breezes blow from out of nowhere and felt an actual touch by someone that wasn't there. They can feel panicked, dizzy, or nauseous, but that's mild compared to what happened to a volunteer security officer. He was actually picked up and thrown into a doorway by some unseen force. The feelings of dread and panic hit at every turn. But why? Who could these spirits be? To answer those questions, we'll have to take a look back through time. In all honesty, the spirits could be from over 300 years of history at the location. Native Americans have been in the area for centuries, but the first recorded official Native American settlement and village was around 1600 AD. The area was prized for the ancient river flowing through it, as well as the fertile farmland. In fact, the New River is the second oldest river in the world, coming in only behind the Nile. White settlers did not invade the area until the mid-1700s, when Dr. Thomas Walker created a small settlement on the banks of the New River. In the winter of 1755, in nearby Draper's Meadow, now Blacksburg, Mary Draper Ingalls was captured by Native Americans and transported to Ohio. Mary escaped and walked around 800 miles back home following creeks and streams. She ate nuts and roots to stave off starvation. Her journey is one of the best examples of female heroism ever recorded in frontier history. But that wasn't all that happened. Holding true to the ways of the white settlers at the time, the new residents of the village, then known as Lovely Mount, displaced the Native Americans and began farming and settling the area. The village stayed fairly small until the railroad came to the New River. The railroad brought forth the need for a station, workers, iron foundries, lumber mills, and all services related to sustaining the new population and industrial growth. The Civil War brought battles, destruction, and death to the entire area. Bridges were burned, houses and farms were destroyed as the Confederacy battled the Union. The railroad was attacked by both sides for different reasons. One day, after winning a very bloody battle at Cloyd's Mountain, Union General George Cooke took his army of the Kanawha and destroyed the New River Bridge in Radford. Blood soaked into the soil and set the stage for the worst of the area's history, yet to come. In 1892, the St Albans Lutheran Boys' School was built, with the intent of carving out college-ready young men. The building was designed to accommodate up to 50 boys. While the intentions of the school were good at first, the school became increasingly competitive and demanding. It encouraged bullying to weed out weaker students. In fact, the learning environment was so hostile that there were multiple suicides from bullying and pressure to succeed at any cost. The school closed its doors in 1911. The building sat vacant until 1916, when Dr. J.C. King reopened the doors as a home for the mentally disabled. While the horrific conditions of similar institutions were well known, Dr. King wanted St. Albans to be different and a better alternative to other asylums across the United States. He envisioned an advanced treatment facility that focused on patient activity and participation to supplement their therapies. There was a rooftop garden and a small farm that supplied fresh, homegrown produce. There was even a bowling alley installed in the basement for patient and staff recreation. Additions were built onto the existing structure to expand the capacity. However, Dr. King's vision quite missed its mark when patients began to arrive. Instead of being a paradise, St. Albans was a nightmare from the beginning. Patients were subjected to experimental procedures and treatments that resulted in numerous deaths or permanent disabilities. The patients who survived the treatments experienced significant declines in their conditions. They were forced to endure radical and painful treatments like insulin-induced comas, hydrotherapy, electroshock therapy, lobotomies, and hydroshock therapy. But what happened to the countless number of patients who lost their lives in the horrendous conditions at the sanatorium? Staff and visitors say they're still roaming the property. Throughout the period of operation, staff and patients must have had children around, hence finding toys scattered around the building and a supposed apparition of the young girl in the bowling alley. The other spirit in the basement that appears as a mist. Who was it? She appears when visitors say her name, Gina Hall. According to the Virginia cold case files, Gina Hall was an 18-year-old local Radford University student who disappeared on June 28, 1980, after attending a party in Blacksburg. She phoned her sister at 1:30 a.m., saying she was at Clater Lake with her friend Stephen Epperly, but would be home by 6 a.m. to meet a friend. When she did not arrive home, her sister notified the authorities. To summarize the case, Stephen Epperly was a 28-year-old teacher who was also local to Radford. Hall's car was found 2 days later under a railroad trestle about a half-mile from St. Albans. DNA in the car was shown to belong to Hall, and Epperly became the focus of the investigation. He claimed his innocence throughout, but was ultimately arrested and charged with her murder. In June 1993, Epperly was convicted of the first-degree murder of Gina Hall, and was the first man convicted of murder in the state of Virginia, where the victim's body was never found. While Epperly was imprisoned, Hall's sister kept trying to determine the whereabouts of her sister's remains. In 2019, Diana Bodmer, Gina Hall's sister, ran into a forensic anthropologist who had invented a device that could detect DNA that was buried in soil. With the help of Dr. Vass, the anthropologist, Bodmer uncovered remains of her sister scattered at 8 different sites throughout the New River Valley. As uncomfortable as that was, other remains were also found in those sites from unknown victims. Epperly was denied parole in 2019 and is still incarcerated at the Lawrenceville Correctional Center in Brunswick County, Virginia. But why would Gina Hall's spirit be in the bowling alley at St. Albans? Well, her car was found close to the site, but there is speculation that Epperly once worked at St. Albans and used his knowledge to get into the building and dismember her body in the basement. With all of the trauma, terror, blood, pain, and horrors that occurred on the site of St. Albans, it's no wonder there are restless spirits still roaming the halls of the asylum that imprisoned them. Some may want their stories to be told, and some may be out to exact revenge on anyone who comes near. But one thing is for sure. While St. Albans Sanatorium was no Garden of Eden for the poor souls who were sent there, it surely is a ghost hunter's paradise. My name is Scott, and thank you so much for watching. We're a group of curious and passionate humans, creating documentary-style content for those who share our curiosity, ask questions, and seek to dig deeper in a world where almost everything isn't quite what it seems. We are Mystery Syndicate. If you like what we do, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, leave a comment, and give this video a like. And to be notified when we post new videos, hit that notification bell. Also, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and for exclusive merchandise, visit our website at www.mysterysyndicate.com. And for those that wish to support our channel, please visit Mystery Syndicate on Patreon. We have a variety of new patron tiers with tons of great benefits. If you want to see your name on a future video, be sure to check it out. From all of us at Mystery Syndicate, thank you again. We sincerely appreciate your support.